I'm here. I'm here. Physically, mentally, I don't know. I'm I'm having a tough time with what I just watched. That might be an understatement, but I it's just like I don't even know where to start. I'm speechless. I'm speechless on the post game show. $120 to $119. And it's like I don't know what is more impressive with this franchise is that we could be down three rotational guys, two starters, two rotational guys, DeAndre Hunter. I don't know what's worse. I don't know if the selling the ending is worse, giving up 36 points in the fourth quarter, not boxing out on a free throw. And you know what? They show the back replay and Neesmith they look at basket interference and they're looking at the wrong thing. And this is all I'm going to say about the refs, because if you watch the show, if you tune into the program, I'm going to be the last Cavalier fan to complain about the refs. I promise you, I give you pinky promise everything, because that's not who I am. I don't care. I don't think that the refs screwed us over in game one. I don't think that Indiana played dirty in either games of this series. I don't think that. You're not going to get that from me. But I have to get this off my chest because it was very, 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 very startling. The Siakam pair of missed free throws. Okay. He misses the first one. These are all pivotal plays. Everything that is happening down the stretch here is a pivotal play. He misses the first one. He comes up to the line for the second one. He misses the second one. Neesmith skies in, dunk. And then they blow a whistle and this and that, and where Donovan Mitchell gets hurt. They go and look on the replay and they look to see if it's a basket interference or if the ball is on the cylinder, when they should have looked about him being in the restricted area early. The ball is not off Siakam's hands, and he has a foot in the lane. He has multiple feet in the lane. Yeah, no wonder he could get a putback dunk. And they go and look and go, we're looking at basket interference. You're looking at the wrong thing, Tony Brothers, and you have to know what you're dealing with a Tony Brothers crew. All right, let me get that out of the way. Just let me glaze by that really quickly. Oh my God. I don't know what's more impressive, like I said to start, if it's Hunter, DG, Evan Mobley being out. I don't know if it's more impressive that you blow a 20-point lead in the second half, or that you actually could give the fan base some hope. The first quarter was the best quarter you've played all series. Granted, it was only 5 quarters at that point. However, and we got Pacers fans in the chat. Good for you guys. Honestly, congratulations. Good job. But I don't care. Thanks for joining. Go somewhere else. Thanks. I don't know if it's more impressive that you could blow a 20-point lead, or that you give the franchise and the team and the fan base hope that even with adversity, even with 3 people being out, 2 starters and a rotational piece, that you have an 11-point lead at half, you have a 20-point lead in the second half, you absolutely outplay them in the first quarter, and I'm sitting there, they had me fooled. They did. Again, I don't know. Every year with this team, since the Donovan Mitchell acquisition, they've had me fooled. It's just at different levels every year. The first year, like, oh, cool, we're in the playoffs. The Knicks, like, awesome. Okay, 4 or 5 seed, we get a home playoff series. Absolutely awesome. Fooled me there. Fooled me once. Last year, oh, this team is, a little bit seasoned up. Donovan Mitchell, second year. Him and Darius are just getting acclimated. We got young pieces. Evan Mobley's growing into his own. Jared Allen is a rising star. He's going to be on this, that. We got draft picks like Isaac Okoro and we didn't make any moves. We didn't do anything crazy at the deadline, but we got Marcus Morris Sr. off the couch. And, just in case we need some extra firepower in the playoffs, his experience is going to come in clutch. That was, I at least last year, I didn't get fooled. Last year, believe it or not, you guys aren't going to believe me. There's plenty of records and history, and you go to our YouTube channel and you could go through the Twitter and everything. I didn't get fooled last year. I knew that team had issues. A lot of people, were drinking the Kool-Aid and walking around with blinders on, but at least I knew last year's team had issues. You go 7 games with Orlando, and then obviously Boston. Oh, well, the injury bug, the same story as last year in the semis, to be truthfully honest with you. The injury bug, and, we took a game off of Boston and blah, blah, blah. All right, yeah, at least they didn't fool me last year. So I've only really been fooled once, if you want me to be, truthful to the situation. Now, I've been fooled at a whole new level this year because not only were you the 1 seed, not only do you have the coach of the year, not only do you have the defensive player of the year, not only do you have home court advantage all the way through the Eastern Conference, not only did you have a 15-game winning streak, a 16-game winning streak, another 15-game winning streak, 13-game winning streak, whatever it may be, you swept the first round. You took care of business against a team that couldn't even tie your shoelaces. The Cleveland Charge probably could have beat Miami in the first round. It would have took probably 6 or 7 games, but we could have probably trotted out Luke Travers and Javonte Green and Craig Porter Jr. and Amani Bates III and Tristan Thompson, and we probably could have won that series. And now this bullshit's happening. Down 2-0 against the 4 seed. And you know what? Who says we don't deserve it? I'm not saying we deserve the injuries. I would never say that. I would never say, oh, anybody deserves to be hurt. But at the end of the day, this Indiana team made it further than you in the playoffs last year. It sounds corny. It sounds cliche, but you should have looked at yourself as the underdogs. Who has more season playoff experience as far as making it deep? Pause. Halliburton or Darius Garland? It's Halliburton. Darius hasn't even showed up. Darius is on the bench, standing up and sitting down and standing up and sitting down. Thought his toe hurt. He looks kind of mobile on the bench. Who has more playoff experience as far as making it deep? Tyrese Halliburton or Donovan Mitchell? It's not Donovan Mitchell. I could tell you that. If you want to boil it down to pure numbers, you know who has the most playoff experience out of anyone in the whole series? Tristan Thompson. So this is amazing. This is just, I don't know what it's going to take. I think that's the point I'm getting at. I don't know what it's going to take. A very close and reliable and confidant and source continues to text me about this season. If not now, when? And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. You're the 1 seed. I'll continue to say it. Is Indiana a good basketball team? Sure. They are. Are they more talented than the Cavs? No. I think the Indy fans in the comments will actually tell you that. Because Pacers fans, believe it or not, out of actually, the funniest thing is that, the Pacers fans don't really rile me up because, believe it or not, Out of the nearly the 5 or so years that we've been doing this and running this YouTube channel and the Twitter, the Pacers fans know the most ball out of anybody. I respect Pacers fans. And they're going to gloat, and they're up 2-0, and, you know, they deserve that. They take 2 games on the road. Kicking the balls if you're a Cleveland fan. But they're real ball knowers. I don't think a really rational Pacers fan is going to tell you that the Indiana Pacers have a more talented roster, top to bottom, than the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think they would ever say that. I don't even know if they would say that Rick Carlisle is a better head coach than Kenny Atkinson has been this year. I don't even know if they'll say that. But they will say that the Indiana Pacers are a lot more physical than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They understand the moment more than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They hit clutch shots better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're more conditioned than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They know how to win big games better than the Cleveland Cavaliers. And sitting here as a Cavs fan, all I can say is those things are true. That's all I could say. So I have a question, you know, for some of our players. And at the end of the day, if you don't think it's my place, that's fine. That's your opinion. Who's going to suit up for game 3? Is Mobley done? Is Mobley out for the series? Is Darius Garland done? He's missed 4 straight playoff games. Like, guys, this injury did not just happen. It's not like he got hurt in the 3rd quarter of game 1 and missed game 2 of the semis. He missed the last 2 games of the Miami series. What about Hunter? I didn't know that we traded for a guy who, you know, wasn't going to play because of a dislocated thumb. Sorry. Call me insensitive. Call me inhumane. Oh, these guys are human too. I understand. Like, I'm not an irrational individual. I said might sound unhinged, but I'm not an irrational individual. I could promise you that. Can't keep blaming injuries. Need to start winning games at some point. And you know what the worst part is, Mike? Like, this team has been so, actually, believe it or not, even a little bit of last season, mostly this season, this team has been so good when it's time for next man up. To personally, and if it keeps going like this, the story is going to change, but, you know, Ty Jerome owes his next paycheck so much to people getting hurt and next man up and just being a good player all year long. What has happened? What has happened, Ty? What has happened, Okoro? Well, I know it's happened. That was on me. That was a silly question. Okoro is just a waste of space, to be truthfully honest with you. And it's going to sound mean. Ugh. God, he's making $13 million. I think he could take the heat from me with a couple thousand followers across social media. I think he can handle it. One for 14 for Ty Jerome. 1 for 14. Not sure what to say about that. Wade, 1 for 4. Jared Allen, 7 of 9, 8 for 8 from free throws, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers, though, 22 points. Jared Allen almost gets a pass for tonight, except that he is severely out of shape. Gassed. Makes 1 play on Halliburton down the stretch, switching to him, singling him out every play down the stretch. He makes 1 defensive recovery. I almost fell over because I thought Okoro blocked it, and they showed the replay, and Allen got it from behind. I was shocked that happened. If you're in the NBA, to be truthfully honest with you, and the announcers are saying into their headset to the fans that Kenny Atkinson needs to get Jared Allen out of the game. I believe this was the third quarter because he is fatigued. You have some serious problems on your hands. It's my opinion. Merrill, like, I don't know. Sam Merrill, like, I just need people. I just need people to be really super honest with themselves. And yes, I get it. We were down 3 rotational players. I understand. But Sam Merrill started game 1. At least they went away from that stupidity in game 2. At least Kenny figured that out. Is Sam Merrill like a playoff, like NBA player? Is Isaac Okoro like a playoff NBA player? 29 minutes, 1 for 2, 3. At least he hit 3 out of his 4 free throws, 5 points, and 2 personal fouls in 29 minutes. Brother's out there running cardio. He's out there going up and down the court, trying not to have butterfingers and turn the ball over. I don't know how they get him with 0 turnovers. I saw at least 1. I don't know who's doing the stats for ESPN. But the ball goes right through his fingers. I don't know who else you would assess that turnover to. Okay. Javonte Green, an NBA playoff rotational player, even with the 3 guys down, even with it. Craig Porter Jr. I would rather have Craig Porter Jr. playing than Okoro. Let me get to people who I actually have had respect for tonight. Max Strus, number 1, 39 minutes, 8 of 18 from the floor, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 23 points. Thank you, Max Strus. You did your job tonight. You were extremely fun to watch. I didn't want to have an aneurysm every time you touch the ball. Donovan Mitchell, 15 of 30, 48 points. Granted, 17 of them are on free throws. He takes 21 free throw attempts. I really don't want to hear anything. I complained a little bit about the refs, when we started. I don't really want to hear anything about the refs. Don took 21 free throws. And yes, he's getting hammered. Like all those were earned. But it's like, come on. We took 6 more free throws than them. They missed 8 free throws. They were 21 of 29 from the free throw. It's no disrespect because you're down, we're down 0-2. I get it that it's Pacers fans have all the room to talk. Totally agree with that. I know how sports work. Indy is not that good. That is what continues to bother me. I think we finally, through the therapy session of the first 20 minutes of this live, I've finally figured it out. It is continually bothered me that we just shrink in the moment. Orlando was a not good basketball team last year. That's why I was tricked this year, because you duped me with Miami. Miami, if that goes 5 or 6 games, you're like, holy shit. Houston, we have a problem, because Miami was one of the worst playoff teams to ever make it in the playoffs, maybe ever, maybe since the play-in was introduced. I mean, you have Nikola Jovic playing big time minutes for Miami in the postseason in a playoff series. Give me a break. But now, not only do you have 2 impressive road wins, like I said, albeit against literal inferior trash 10th seed opponent. I just conceded all that. But now all you have to do is come out with the most rest you could have had. Oh. You were the 1 seed. You swept the first round. You had the most rest you could have had. And to be truthful with you, even with the Mobley and Hunter injuries, if you at least win game 1, you could stomach it. Okay? You could stomach it. You won game 1. Hunter gets knocked to the ground, dislocated thumb. Mobley rolls an ankle. You're up 1-0. You lose game 2. Even if you lost game 2 how you lost it tonight, I still would be absolutely disgusted. But I could at least go to Indy and think, look, it's at least 1-1 for everything that has happened, for everything that has transpired. And you at least lean on the resiliency of this team to be able to maybe claw their way back to 4 wins before Indy gets to 4 first. Now you're in trouble. Because Indy just has to win home games, and they're good. That's it. They don't even have to win all their home games. They could split with us here, and then we could win game 5 in Cleveland, and then they could win in game 6. Simple as that. All the pressure has been taken off of them to be able to perform. And it's truthfully because you couldn't take care of the basketball the last 2 minutes of this game, regardless of the injuries. You could put player A, B, C, D, E, F. I don't really care who's out there. You have no excuse for losing this game tonight. You have 0. I don't care who is hurt. I don't care that our 2 Supermaxes, DPOY, Darius Garland are on the bench. When the situation is the situation, and you have an 11-point lead at half, a 20-point lead in the second half, and you have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-point lead with less than 3 minutes left, I don't know what to tell you. You can't get a rebound on the Nesmith bullshit, which I was already said is bullshit. Don, he missed some free throws. He missed 4 of his 21 free throws. Okoro was calling a timeout for no reason after we just came out of a timeout. Indy scores. We get the ball on the baseline. And then Okoro's calling a timeout, which is our last timeout, which not only made about next to 0 sense, but also it negated us from being able to challenge any calls for the remainder of the game because we were at 0 timeouts. And he's like this. But he hasn't been in that spot. He hasn't been in that spot all year. And you think maybe you could learn from playing in the playoffs last year, but apparently not. That is your issue. When you don't get people minutes in big time contests, they don't know what to do. And I'm not going to blame that on Kenny because I just don't think Okoro is that guy. And then Strus throws the ball away, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly. I hope it isn't. I hope I don't want to relive or remember any of that game, to be truthfully honest with you. Strus throws the ball away. Donovan offensive foul. And then, Halliburton bullshitting around and scores how many of their last points? I mean, it felt like every time he had the ball and we had a 6, 5, 7-point lead, it was like 106 was on the clock, and then it was he put it in a layup, and it was 103. Like they were scoring in the matter of seconds. We weren't even attempting to slow them down defensively at the end of the day. When it came down to those last couple possessions in the fourth quarter. I mean, let me consult the freaking game cast here. He missed the free throw, got an offensive rebound, then he makes the 24-foot three. Siakam with a layup. Like you just have to look at this for yourself. If you want to see this is all you really need to look at right here. All right, 2-point shot. This was probably a high percentage shot. 124 driving layup. Strus makes this big 3. And you're like, let's go. Crowd is hype. Strus is hype. He's been playing good all game. Somebody stepped up that wasn't named Donovan Mitchell. Somebody made a shot. You got the ball out of his hands. He didn't have to go to the rim and take a tumble that, felt like his whole body was going to break at any moment. Max Strus, bang. 3 seconds later, they give up a layup right by Allen. Here's your BS Nesmith dunk that they didn't know what to look at, but still, you have to put a body. You have to do something. You have to put a body on somebody. If you see this guy coming into the lane, you got to do something. You can't just sit there and cry about how he was in the paint too early. Driving layup. So you have layup, dunk, layup. Everything easy here. Makes the first free throw. And to be truthfully honest with you, they didn't even know what they were doing. Siakam, we dribble so much time off the clock, maybe our last or second to last possession. Siakam lets us get 8, 9, 10 seconds off the clock, and then he bumps into Mitchell and is the ref is thinking he's intentionally fouling him to get him to the free throw line, and Siakam throws his hands up oh, I didn't really mean to do that. I thought that was a play on the ball. They didn't even know what they were doing. They are not that good of a basketball team. They're not. They have good players. They have scrappy players. They're it's not oh my. If you would be telling me that you were down 2-0 and Boston just took 2 games from you on the road and yeah, I think Boston's probably better than us. I had no idea that Indy was better than us. This is a newsflash to me and Cavs fans everywhere that the Indiana Pacers are somehow better than the 1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers, team of destiny, third best regular season record of all time, best season of Cavaliers basketball with a guy not named LeBron James on the roster. Top 5 worst choke in Clee history. Shoot. You got to think. The Indians throwing 3-1. I don't know if you're counting that as one or if you're counting all those games as multiple games. You got to think of the Indians World Series in the 90s, which I was not born yet for, but I've heard multiple times about. Jose Mesa, I believe. There's got to be a couple of Browns moments in there. The fumble, the drive, red right 88, all that stuff. It's close. It's close, Curtis. I don't know, though. It's the semis. That's another thing. It's the Eastern Conference semis. It's not even the Eastern Conference finals. It's not even the finals. It's one round after you spanked the 10th seed who was 7 games below 500. And you can't box out. You can't even keep guys healthy. You can't make your free throws. You can't hold on to the basketball in a momentous, time period. Epic collapse. Carlisle with a masterclass in coach against coach of the year. Yeah. Gotta say, it's been a while since I felt this shitty after a Cavs game. Big Speezy, I would agree with you, but it just feels like last year's playoffs, to be truthfully honest with you. It feels like last year's playoffs, just once again. And we just didn't play a play-in team last year. We played the Magic, who were actually a seeded team. It feels like the Magic series. I think the saddest part is that if you go out like this, and series isn't over, is it looking good? No. I've been on here for 30 minutes telling you how bad it looks. I'm not going to tell you it's looking good. But the series is not over. I have to say that. I have to put that disclaimer out there. But if you go out like this, if you go out, 4 or 5 games, if you go out in 4 games to Indy, 4 or 5 games, it's like everything that this regular season will basically, outside of individual accolades, mean nothing. That's the most disappointing part about it. You want these guys to, you want people in 6 man of the year conversations. You want Mobley, defensive player of the year. You want Kenny Atkinson this. You want Cleveland sporting personalities on the map. That's how small markets acquire more talent. You want to be known as a good franchise. And every year with these guys, since we got Mitchell, they're good until adversity in the big moments hits. I mean, this is the truth, Curtis. You better calm down. If you put this out on Twitter, X, you'll be getting reported. You'll be getting stoned. You'll be getting guillotined in town square. I can't even speak. And once again, like, I'm going to sound doom and gloom. That's the part of the theme here, down 2-0, but it's like, I'm so sick of hearing about, this runway in the regime. It's been 8 years, man. 8-9 seasons, bro. Since you've been in the finals in 18. Like, it's 2025, guys. It's not like it took you 3 or 4 years to put this outfit together. You've been marinating on this roster for numerous lottery picks. Numerous. Colin Sexton, Darius Garland, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley. You take a big swing on Don, awesome. You acquire a guy like Strus. You make a move for Hunter at the deadline of this year, who doesn't even play, apparently, because his thumb hurts. You know? I hope you could get a rebuild done in 10 years. And people hate when I start talking like that, but that's just how I feel. Wait till you hear Mitchell is doubtful for Friday. Yeah, I mean, I don't expect it. That's the thing, too. Like, you expect it to get any better? You expect these guys to turn around and play Friday? Maybe. Are they going to be able to keep up with the pace of play? Donovan, I don't think Donovan, if this series goes 7 games, I don't see how he plays all 7 games. Like, just for an example. Ty Jerome just caused, Jerome, terrible. All right. I'm done. That's all I got to say. 121-19. Pacers pick up game 2. Just really should not be the case. Really should be 1-1, headed back to Indy. And the series is like still 50-50% chance either way. If I would have watched those last 2 minutes of basketball, I would have thought that truthfully thought that you could have convinced me that JB was still at the helm, LeVert was still on the roster, Niang was still on the roster, and Okoro was, people still thought he was like a mainstay piece of us being able to win moving forward. Sorry. I don't know how you could convince me otherwise. All right. Cavalier Faithful, appreciate you guys hanging out, tuning in with me. Like button, comment, subscribe, follow, share with your friends. Don't. It's up to you, man. It's your life. Cavs down 2-0. See you guys in the next one.